I don't know what it is about dance. You can say something in a movement that a word can never say. For me, dance is the medium that I know best. Dance is one of those things that everybody does. It's one of those things that crosses boundaries of language, of age, of life experience, of where you were born, it's one of those things that can bring people together because all you gotta do is put on a great song. Hands on the ground and you're gonna circle your legs and stand this way. Yeah, so it's like a big circle with your legs so they'll go from around to the side. And you can slowly bring your way up and bring your hands back to your face up here.
It lets me really be myself because I know that no one's gonna judge me.
It's like another being inside of me that's sort of just doing it. And I don't really think of it when I'm doing it, but it sort of just comes out when it happens.
Even if it's a limited way in which you move, you can still respond to the music.
We bring together two very different age groups and see if we could, through dance, find some commonalities. The intangible things that are happening in the studio, in the workshop, rehearsal process are usually the things that bring such connection and joy and fun and learning between the age groups.
It's a new idea, so I'm trying to develop different kinds of relationships between seniors and youth. They, I feel like, are the same person. You two, I feel like, are building something together, and then them, I feel like, are together, like they're in their lives together.
Okay, we're not supposed to feel her hardship.
No, you're your own autonomous idea. Yeah, it's three different, you guys are just, you're feeling off each other. That's what I like about this relationship. One theme that keeps coming up is the idea of isolation and loneliness. And I think youth, even today, more than ever, they have a lot to deal with in growing up in this day and age. And I think a lot of that time, it's very isolating. And they feel like no one understands them truly. On the flip side, we have all these seniors who have lived incredible lives, traveled, had families, had crazy experiences. But then after all of this, with not only just their illness, I think just aging is something that sometimes feels very lonely. And I think even though we all age, we strangely don't connect on that level. We don't talk about it very much. We don't talk about what it feels like to not be the person we once were.
As much determination as I have to make sure that I've got the barricades up if I feel loneliness coming on.
I don't speak with my words, I speak with my dancing. That's how I interact with someone. And it has a fun way of just not talking to someone, you're talking to someone with your own movements.
Maybe step over, yeah. But then at the next pose, if I go up like this.
Yeah, we're gonna be like this.
Yeah.
So
When I was younger, I wouldn't have much friends, so I was sometimes really isolated from the world. But with dance, it helped me be more closer to friends that I work with. That's why I love it so much.
When I go to dance, you don't usually spend a lot of time talking with your peers, but when you dance with them, it's you're really communicating, and I think it's a good way to form connections.
The weight of aging suddenly hit me in that my life is finite to begin with, and literally Parkinson's was closing in on me, as if I was had to carry heavier and heavier weights all the time, and I was losing the sociability, the ability to get out and meet people and do things.
It's been really interesting to see how they interact with one another. I think music is a place of commonality. So I've been looking into figuring out ways to bring those together and not just have the music speak to either just the youth or the seniors. There was a lot of talk about things they can't do and can do. I sort of saw a journey in that particular section of the work of starting from a place where they can't to somewhere where they can.
From wherever you are, wherever she is, just join her. Like, that's what it's supposed to be.
When everyone's dancing together, you're all like working together and noticing other people. And you like, even though you're dancing and you're trying to remember the choreography and like what you're feeling, you're interacting with everyone else because you're all dancing together.
The dance with youth has been interesting. Somehow I pick up on their energy and it allows me to do a little bit more each time.
You go.
Okay.
And everyone's going to stop.
All right, so you'll cue us now, though?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So I had this idea to build a knot of all the human physically. It was a chain of humans holding on to each other, and it represented a boundary. Even a line, even a simple chain can be so complex, have so many different layers, and be so interwoven, and that in the end, all of our lives kind of play out that way, that you're better for every experience, every interaction you have with another person, and you are changed every time you do interact with another person.
While we were all holding hands and we all kind of twisted ourselves, and then we were able to untwist ourselves, and I think that is kind of, it's really special because it connects with how like the relationship with other people who aren't quite like us can kind of not be fully expanded or not actually be there at all. But we can always find a way to fix that.
When I see the dancers of different age groups expressing themselves in a way with such openness and such courage to people, essentially, they don't know each other. And the way that they actually begin to develop a relationship, those are the powerful, powerful things.
Negative spaces around your body, right? So she's gonna start from behind you, and then you are gonna take your one, and she's gonna find her way to come around you.
I still can't dance, but I do try. I find that I can easily fill my life with a small number of sporting activities, exercise activities, and I find that's an important way to enjoy as well as contribute. That's kind of what life is all about.
It gives me something I can do and I can participate in, and people who are of the same ability as I am, and it's a very friendly and safe atmosphere.
It became something we could do together.
It's important to interact with someone who's not like you, because then you can learn more about them and other people who are like them. So it's important to make that connection.
Dance is allowing the two generations to bridge that big gap, just in the friendships you make and then you retain.
After Arlene kind of gets here, you'll walk your way down. This is your special X. A circle of light will appear here. And then you guys will come in together. You guys can come together. You don't have to walk any special way. You just walk
The
like
music and the dance really brings us in contact with each other and sharing ideas and movement.
Yeah.
It's just something that works.
And you get like I've gotten to realize that some of the problems I'm having as a senior, they're having as teenagers or children.
It's a common humanity kind of thing.
We had worked on this idea of the youth moving the seniors. And so the seniors were actually really still, and not because they can't move, but because that was their task, was to just be very still and to be directed by the youth. And so watching the youth move them into places and positions and movements that they wanted them to do, to lead them, was actually really beautiful, because generally seniors would be the leaders. because of their knowledge and because of their experience. And so allowing that table to flip a little bit was very beautiful, and watching the seniors kind of abandon their control was actually really, really sweet. And what ended up happening was this intense and beautiful idea of real support, of real love, of real care, which I think we're all looking for. But especially in that dynamic, it played out just so much better than I could have even hoped. And we were all, like all of us observing, we're all really touched, truly touched.
When we moved the seniors, we had to be very gentle with their body and be very imaginative on the story that we were trying to tell.
If you're connecting with these great kids, you don't want to let them down. So you do it. You move and you think, you know, can I do even a quarter of what they're doing? Doesn't matter how much you do it, as long as you're doing it. You're doing something and you're having fun doing it. And I think that's what I notice is the smiles, the laughter, the joy, just the joy of movement, the joy of the music, the joy of being together with the young kids.
But in the end, every time I leave knowing, surely, that at least one person in there is having a better life or day because of it. And that's really the goal. And then in the end, that makes me feel like I'm doing something I can stand up for, or something that I want to be remembered about, like for, or that's cool, I guess.
No matter like who you are, there's always something that you can find, even if it's going to take you a while. There's always something you can find in someone else that you also have, and you can use that to connect and be friends.